Welcome to Parlay Power Hour for July 30th, 2020. I'm messing up the introduction. I am so freaking tired today. Like, words can't even describe how tired I am from this trade deadline. It's been like a mess of emotions for me. I don't know. I've cried. I've laughed. I smiled. I don't know. Like, I'm freaking exhausted. Max Scherzer should be a Boston Red Sox right now. That's all I know. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. I think part of the reason you might be so conflicted and tired is because you've got three different teams. You're representing three teams right now. You probably don't even know where your own head is at.
Representing three teams, he's carrying two hats on his head. That's a lot of weight to carry. You must be tired.
He's got a big head. It already weighs him down enough.
I don't have a big. When I was 340 pounds, I had a big head, and actually, I went from a 7 3/4 hat to a 7 5/8 hat, Grant. So thanks for fat shaming me.
That's how many different teams' hats that Tanner has. He really knows his hat sizes. So
he has to keep track. One size fits all. I never got my hat measurement.
No. Yeah, well, Grant, that's because you wear like cheap hats from Walmart. I go to Lids and I get these New Era officially licensed. This is the Big Poppy freaking hat from when he retired, Grant. I don't mess around. I'm no joke. All right, this is Parlay Power Hour for July 30th, 2021. We weren't here yesterday, but we're getting tweets sent to us. All our fans from the TikTok and Twitch and Facebook and Instagram. The people don't want the picks. The people need the picks, Grant. That's what you need to know today. This is the best hour of your day. Subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network on YouTube. We're almost at like 900 right now. Like, we're kind of big. We're kind of a big deal if you didn't already know that. Grant, one and only, 91.74. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. And you want to know why I'm doing especially good today? Because the Lakers are back. Russell Westbrook is in LA. The Lakers are back. I don't care what the odds are. The Lakers are winning the title. Put it down. Put it down now.
Listen, LeBron can't even make freaking Space Jam good, okay? So don't talk to me about the
Space Jam was never good. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it was definitely worse. The remake was definitely worse.
Whoa.
The movies aren't good. They're just historic. Quality-wise, the movies aren't good. You can hear that from me. I said it. Those movies aren't good. They're just historic movies.
Will the Wizard Reed is showing up today big time. Grant, what were you going to say? I'm going to let you go here because I'm a nice person.
I don't even know. Space Jam isn't good?
The second one with LeBron. Cool. Wasn't it?
You play basketball with the Looney Tunes characters. I like the theme. I like it. But, I mean, as an overall movie, they're just not good movies.
Is it better or worse than Like Mike?
You know what the best movie is?
I do like Mike, but, I mean, the historic factor has to play in for Space Jam, so...
You know what the best movies are? Field of Dreams, The Rookie, Fever Pitch.
The Rookie is trash.
I'm
a big fan of The Rookie.
Fever Pitch, Red Sox champions. The Natural.
I'd rather watch A League of Their Own than The Rookie.
A League of Their Own. You know what? Because it's a baseball movie and people actually care about baseball. Unlike the NBA draft. If you looked at Twitter last night, the only thing trending was Scherzer, Turner, Scherzer and Turner really last night. Pretty much. Duffy, I guess, was trending a little bit. Rizzo was trending. Like, nobody cares about basketball, Grant. When that trade was made that you wrote about that I could care less about, like on the article you wrote, that I'm not even going to say, Kuzma and whatever.
When Russell Westbrook and MVP was traded to the biggest market in
Nobody
America.
was talking about that, Grant. Nobody cared. It's all about baseball. Baseball is America's sport, and we are talking about baseball today on Parlay Power Hour. That's what you need to know. Okay. First, we have an ad read. SugarHouse Sportsbook in New Jersey, $250 deposit match. Yankees fans, you guys have Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo. Now you're probably going to go out and get a pitcher today. You guys are back, right? All right. Well, if you're a New Jersey fan, if you're a trash Yankees fan, go to SugarHouse Sportsbook in New Jersey. Use our promo code. It's down in the description below, Sports20, promo code Sports20. You're going to get a $250 deposit match on SugarHouse Sportsbook. New Jersey, Yankees land, not great, but SugarHouse is awesome. That's what you need to know about that, guys. The short porch. The short porch is back. We're going to hit balls out of the short porch all day long. Now, before we get into this, guys, to go to the tune here of SugarHouse Sportsbook, what do you guys think about the Yankees? Are they actually going to make the playoffs? G-Money?
Well, they're set up much better. The news of Rizzo's trade broke while we were on a show yesterday, and we were talking about Joey Gallo. I think the phrase that I used was he makes them more of what they already are. But adding Rizzo to that mix, I think adds a different dimension. I think they become much more of a winning team. So, they have a tough mountain to climb because the Red Sox and the Rays are so far ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed it, but I also think their chances of making the playoffs are much higher than they were.
They have no chance of winning the division. Like, let's be real. They're 9 games back. They have no chance of winning the division. The only chance they have is one wild card spot that doesn't go to the Rays or the Red Sox. I think they could get it. If they don't get it, Aaron Boone will be fired and the Bronx will burn to the ground. That's what you need to know. Will Reed, the Nationals last night. You're a big Nats guy. Max Scherzer. I'm a little upset that he's in LA, honestly, because I wanted him in Boston. He said he would go to Boston. Max Scherzer said, I'm not going to New York because it's a trash city. But anyways, Max Scherzer's in LA. How's that feel?
I mean, we all knew it was coming. He's been rumored in trade talks for essentially the whole season because his contract is up after this year. And as a Nationals fan, it pains me to see him go, but we need to get some sort of value back for him. And we got some pretty good prospects. I didn't want to let go of Trey Turner either, but if that's the price we had to pay to get some of those prospects from the Dodgers and kind of just start the rebuild that we desperately need, even though we just won the World Series 2 years ago, yeah, I mean, I'll pay that price.
All right, there you go. All right, so Grant's 91 and 74 million picks. Will is 61 and 53. I'm 59-46, coming off a 3-0 day. So don't let the boys get hot right now. All right, Grant, we're going to start with you. Mets and Reds here, over 7.5. Carlos Carrasco on the bump today. I kind of like this pick because we have not seen Carrasco since he tore his hamstring in spring training. So go for it.
Yeah, that was definitely a big factor in picking this. He's coming in pretty cold. And, this is Major League Baseball. They're not playing around. If you see someone who's down and out, he doesn't have much experience, they're going to jump all over him. The Reds, Sonny Gray's on the mound for them. He's at a 4.5 for the year. Not that good at all. The Reds have actually been scoring pretty well lately. If you go back and look at the recent games, the Mets have been inconsistent for most of the year. So that one, that I guess that would be the cause for caution in this pick. But because the inexperience of their pitcher, and then, like I said, Sonny Gray being his counterpart, I think this one's going over. And 7.5, that's not much at all. So I think it's pretty easy for them to go over.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, but when you see the Mets play in person, they're very bad. Like the bottom of the order is just horrendous. Now Carrasco, over 7, and how we could say he's going to go over. But again, like we get a guy back like Chris Sale. Can we make that same logic? Am I really going to say, okay, Chris Sale and the Red Sox, they're going to go over 7.5? Not just make it a comparison here. So I would stay away from it because I've not seen him pitch this year. But hey, what are you going to do? Will, over or under this one?
Yeah, I mean, you guys both mentioned either way you could go on this one because you could say, oh, we haven't seen him pitch this year. Maybe he's going to come back really good and pitch a great game. Or we haven't seen him pitch this year and he's going to be cold coming into the game and let up a few runs. I'm going to go with being cold and side with Grant here on this one. 7.5 is a pretty low total with Gray, and then a returning pitcher in Carrasco come to the mound. I mean, you mentioned it. The Mets aren't that great of a team in the bottom of their lineup, but we always say when we talk about the Mets, Pete Alonso could hit a 3-run homer, and then that only requires 5 more runs for the rest of the game. So I'm going to stick with the over in this one for the Reds and the Mets.
All right, so Will, you've disrespected Matt Harvey, and I don't appreciate that already by this pick. We will be fighting here. It's about to go down. Rough and rowdy, USA wager style. Will, over 9.5 Orioles Tigers today.
Well, it took 2 games for you to finally side with Matt Harvey. He pitched 2, 6-inning gems where he only allowed about 2 or 3 hits in both games, no runs. So, I mean, Matt Harvey's been on a roll, but for the way he's pitched for the last 3 or 4 years, I don't think it continues. His ERA is still high up there, and his matchup on the other side is Tarek Skubal. Now, Skubal's been decent in his last few starts, not giving up too many runs, but he's still young. I think he lets up a few runs in today's game, and I think or Matt Harvey returns to his normal form and lets up at least 4 or 5.
No. Matt Harvey is back. Okay, it's over Friday, but we had to make a special exception today for this bet. Matt Harvey is back. Orioles versus Tigers. It's staying under 9.5. Here's why. Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is back to Dark Knight form. It's Matt Harvey day. Okay, we talk about like it's Clayton Kershaw day. It's Walker Buehler. Every single team, like their ace, they say it's this pitcher's. It's Garrett Cole day. Look what Garrett Cole did yesterday, right? That whole it's Matt Harvey day, like that whole it's a pitcher day. That started with Clayton Kershaw and Matt Harvey. It really started with Matt Harvey in New York. All right, this dude is back. You look at what he's done in the past 2 games, 6 innings, both times, has not given up a run yet. I think he's given up 6 hits. has not struck out a lot of batters, but I don't need him to strike out a lot of batters. I need him to keep the ball in the yard. If he keeps the ball in the yard, the Orioles will win this game. It will stay under. Go Orioles. Shout out to the girls at Camden Yards that wear the jerseys like this. Anyways, Matt Harvey, under 9.5. Mark it up right now. Tarek Screwball, same thing. I think he's okay. Hey, who knows? We might see Trey Mancini get traded today. Who knows? Then the game's definitely going to stay under. Grant, what are you thinking? Settle the score here.
I think this is one of the most disrespectful picks you've done. This is over Friday with the over king of the over team, and you're going under. I am shocked that you would take this stance. I know you're not a huge math guy, but I don't know if you've ever heard of the term regression to the mean. Matt Harvey has had a couple outliers recently. Look at what he's done the last few seasons. He's at a 6.6 ERA this season. He was 11.5 last year. Not much action. 7.0 the year before. 4.5, 7, 6.7. There is no way that he's going to keep throwing these runless games. This game is going over. This game is going over 12. This game's going over 13. There's no way this stays under.
So their 8 runs were scored yesterday in their game, so we got to factor that in. Both teams have been scoring runs, but I'm going Matt Harvey today because you know what? I'd rather bet with Matt Harvey and get burnt and say, okay, I'm a dumbass, than saying like I'm going to go against Matt Harvey again and lose to the third week, because I'm not letting that happen for sure. I'm not betting against Matt Harvey for the third week and losing again.
I'm not going to bet on Harvey when the Detroit Tigers have scored 29 runs in the last 3 games. Granted, that's inflated by a 17-run game they had, but they scored 6 in the other 2. They've been pretty good. The Orioles bats can heat up at any time, and it might happen against Scooble. This one's over. It's over Friday. We're not going to miss on this one.
6-3 game. 6-3 game. It stays under by half a run. All right. So since it's over Friday, I'll redeem myself here. Royals versus Blue Jays over 10.5. The Blue Jays are back, The Blue Jays are back. Blue Jays are back in Toronto, and we're going to win some games today. Over every time. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., Salvador Perez, they're meeting in Toronto. The Blue Jays must be so fired up right now because I'm fired up to see the Blue Jays play in Toronto. Daniel Lynch on the mound for the Royals, not a great. He's got an ERA pushing 8. Okay, we talk about Matt Harvey being bad. What about Daniel freaking Lynch? He's the new over king. I'm making that ruling today. He's only thrown 16 innings this year, but I don't care. This is my show. I do what I want here. Then you got Ross the Boss Stripling on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's 3-6. He's got an ERA pushing 5. This game is going over. The Blue Jays already have, I heard this on the radio this morning, the Blue Jays already have a home run jacket ready to go for Vladdy Guerrero Jr. when he hits a bomb. Forget about the whole turnover chain that turned into the home run chain. Forget about that. They have a home run jacket now. Okay. The Blue Jays are ready to go. They've been waiting to play in Toronto for 2 years. 2 years. They have been playing in AAA stadiums. They've been playing. They're going to score runs today. They're coming off a murder session of my Boston Red Sox last night. This game's going over. If either of you disagree with this, I will fire you right now from the show.
My mouth's shut. It's going over.
Damn right.
No, I mean we're gonna agree with you here. Your new over king, I guess, will pick on him, even though he's only pitched 16 innings. But I mean, they have every reason to score over 10.5 runs in today's game when they return to Toronto.
Yeah, I should have been like a lawyer. I feel like I would have been good at that. Like in a court, I feel like I could have been a good lawyer.
I disagree.
There's still time. There's still time.
Someone would start talking, and you just go, "Well, that can't be true because this."
Hey, you know what? No, I'm pretty convincing. I'm pretty convincing. I don't know.
I don't think they would appreciate your 2-hat look either.
Well, I'd be wearing the Blue Jays home run jacket because I roll up in style. Okay. Now we'll get into Grant. Rays Red Sox over 9. I like this. I don't mind it. Considering the Rays murdered Garrett Cole and the Yankees yesterday, so that was fun. Grant, talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Sox got slaughtered, but that got overshadowed because so did the Yankees. So I'm sure the Red Sox fans didn't mind. Rays are coming off of a 14-0 drumming. It was, I don't know if you guys watched it, but it seemed like they just never stopped scoring. These are two of the best teams in baseball, but also the top 2 teams in the division. So I feel like they're both going to have it out for each other. And the fact that we don't have a great pitching matchup here, we got Perez and Fleming. It's okay, but it's not great. I feel like both teams are going to – I mean, they make their living with their bats. So I feel like that's what's going to happen here. Minus 114, pretty good odds. I mean, as you'd expect with everything. Over 9's not too high of a mark either. So, yeah, like the over there.
See, every time I've been betting the Red Sox overs, they've seemed to go under a lot more than they've gone over. So I am a little scared of this. But again, like you said, pitching matchup favors the over here. It's over Friday. We're not scared on over Friday. We're going over there. Will Reed, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we're not scared. Everything points to an over here. If you do Grant's little mathematician work of the ERAs, it's just around 9. So that works well to Grant's favor.
No,
so,
first of all, that's not my only strategy. And if you take that strategy, it goes under. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Slightly. I said it almost reaches 9. Would you listen to my words, Grant?
But that means it's under.
Grant, stop interrupting him. This is not how we do it in a court of law. Don't interrupt him.
Oh, so you're the juror now?
I'm a freaking juror, the lawyer, the whatever, the bailiff. I'm the freaking jury. I'm the fans. I sell the peanuts in the front, man. I do it all here on Par. This is my show. Remember that? Twins Cardinals. Now, Will, I think this is an interesting pick because Jose Barrios is pitching for the Twins. It's likely that he will be moved today before this game starts. So you're locking in the over when we know Jose Barrios isn't going to pitch. So you are relying on the Jose Barrios getting traded. Now, before you get in explaining why you're doing this, what happens if Jose Barrios is not traded today and he does pitch in this game tonight?
If Jose Barrios is not traded today, this is a very questionable pick. Barrios is a good pitcher, but everything seems to point to him getting traded sometime today. The Twins are not in a good spot right now, 43-60 on the season. They're not going to be making any pushes towards the playoffs. Barrios is a veteran arm that could help out some other teams. So he's probably on the move at some point today before the deadline hits, and I'm banking on that in the over 8 here. I'm not sure who they will replace him with on the mound to take the start, but the Cardinals will have Wade LeBlanc, who is, I believe, 0-2 on the year with like a 4.58 ERA, only about 35 innings pitched, but and a lot of his work has been done in relief. He hasn't been too great. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't go over. I mean, over 8 is a low total, almost as low as it can get. Usually they go around over 7.5 is about as low as it can get. If you look at the trends recently, I mean, the Twins were in that 17-14 massive run game just against the Tigers in their last one. Then they lost a game 5-6 against the Tigers right before that. So they've been hovering around 5 runs on average in their last 5 games. I think they can get that here. The Cardinals have been doing not too great. They're 7-2, 4-2, or 10-6 in their last few decisions. They won 10-6 versus the Reds, 4-2 against the Indians, and then they lost a 7-2 game against the Indians. So they've been allowing runs, but also scoring runs at the same time. I don't see any reason this can't go over.
I think Jose Barrios will get traded. I think this game stays under today. Grant, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually going to stay under here too. If you talked about LeBlanc, how he hasn't been too great. He's actually down at a 3.4 ERA, and I just went through his recent games. He's allowed 8 earned runs in his last 21 something innings. So that's not phenomenal, but it's somewhere around that mid-3 average. Twins are not good. It's I don't like betting on them pretty much no matter what it is. I know they just scored 14. They still lost the game because the Twins are losers. So they're not going to score 14 again. There's no way. So I feel like, like I said with Tanner, regression to the mean. If they just scored 14, they're due for a 1-run game. So I would go under.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong.
Well, if you look at LeBlanc's stats more closely, a lot of those runs or those innings where he wasn't giving up too many of those runs, a lot of those were when he was in a relief role. Now that he's in the starter role, he's been starting to choke up a little bit more runs. I mean, if you look at his last game, he let up 3 runs on 8 hits in 4 innings against the Reds. So, I mean, I don't think there's any reason to bank on him keeping your game under.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Well, I like the under here, no doubt about it. All right, Yankees Marlins over 7.5. Now, Anthony Rizzo is probably not going to play tonight. Joey Gallo should be in the lineup tonight for the Bronx Bombers wearing the pinstripe. The Savages of the American League East. They're so scary. Oh my God. We have Joey Gallo and we have Anthony Rizzo. All right, here's the thing. Is this game going to go over necessarily 7.5 below total? I think it is. You got Jameson Taillon on the mound. He's still got that Pittsburgh Pirate mentality. He's kind of a loser. 6-4 in the season, 4.36 ERA. He's been one of the best wings for the New York Yankees this season, no doubt about it. He's going against Zach Thompson, 2-3, 2.45 ERA. Now, the Marlins did just trade away Starling Marte. We got to factor that into this total, but we're replacing it with Joey Gallo. I think Joey Gallo makes a statement tonight. I think he shows up. I think he does something here. At least the Marlins can score some runs, especially against the Yankees who give up runs. I mean, I'm hoping that the Rizzo trade and the Gallo trade inflate this team a little bit and say, okay, we got to start turning it up right now and turn the momentum on. They should go into Miami this weekend, and realistically, they need to take 2 or 3, and they should sweep this team. With considering how good a lineup this is, Rizzo will be in the lineup, I imagine, tomorrow, and the fact that Miami's not very good. I know they have good pitching, but overall, the Bronx Bombers need a sweep this weekend, especially with the Rays and the Red Sox and not Rays, well, really Oakland. I mean, that's who they're competing against, Oakland. So they need a sweep this weekend. Big time. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I got to agree. I mean, if they don't sweep this weekend after the acquisitions they made, now some of those guys might not play until tomorrow or the game after, but they need to start building up some momentum, or else they're never going to catch up to any of the other teams in the AL wildcard. You can throw out the AL East division. They're not going to catch the Red Sox. The Rays are right behind them, so that's basically a 2-man race in that division. But they need to make some ground in the AL wildcard. They finally added some left-handed bats in Gallo and Rizzo. So as you mentioned, that porch right there in left field of for Yankee Stadium is going to be seeing a lot of balls hit their way most likely. But it's got to start with today. I think this one's probably going to go over. The Marlins just need to contribute a few runs. The Yankees are probably going to be riding high off of a good day in trades yesterday. So I think it goes over.
Now, realistically, I'm going to say one thing. I believe this game's going to go over, but if this game stays under and the Marlins beat the Yankees, I'll be fine with it. I'll take a losing bet. I'll whatever my parlay is, I'll throw it out, because I really now genuinely with Rizzo and Gallo, I want to see Rizzo do well. I love Rizzo, but I want to see these Yankees get worse with these guys. I want to see what happens with the crickets, the Twitter crickets, and in the Bronx and Aaron Boone. I really want to see this team, what it's like if they don't win and how much the media turns on them, because they need to win right now. Grant, what do you think about this game?
I think the Yankees can score a lot and they can give up a lot of runs. I know they've been somewhere in the middle recently, but all season long we've talked about, we just don't know what we're going to get for them, and the fact that their total can be so it can fluctuate so much, and this is a low total at 7.5. I hate to do it, but I'm going to make it 3 for 3. I hate agreeing with you, but yeah, this one's going over.
So we have a comment here from Chase Buds. Want to become famous? Buy followers, Prime viewers on bigfollows.com. I guess we shouldn't do this because we are kind of giving him free advertising, but in a way, Chase Buds, we are already famous, so we do not need you here. Get off our show. Anyways, we'll go back to the top here. We got Grant, final pick here. You got Giants, Astros, over 7.5. Now, this one does scare. This one really scares me, Grant. I do not like this at all, but you like it, so go for it.
Yeah, this one's scary, and that's exactly why I took it, because I have the courage in what I believe with this one. I just wrote a series preview for this series last night. So I was actually it was this morning. I was up until 2 a.m. getting it done. And in addition to all the other MLB trade stuff, the NBA draft stuff, make sure you check that out. I think the Astros are going to win this series, and I know that I've been, sort of leading the Giants, not bandwagon, but the Giants train, just because Tanner loves to talk about the Dodgers so much. I've had to show the Giants some love, but I think the Astros are going to win this series. One stat that I dug up that was pretty interesting: the Astros are 500 against top 5 pitching teams, obviously the Giants being one of those, and the Giants are 500 against top 5 hitting teams, the Astros being one of those. So I think that we're in for a very interesting series, and it could fluctuate. It might be 2-0 one night, it might be 10-8 the next night. So I totally understand why this is scary, but this is a very low total. I think the Astros have been hitting the ball well. They just scored 11, 8, and 8 against the Mariners. So it's pretty much no matter how you look at it, there's no overwhelming stat that jumps out like this is why it's going over, or this is why it's going under. And I just think that the Astros are going to defend their home stadium and put some runs on the board, and we go over.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a risky bet because, like you said, the Giants are one of the best offenses in baseball. The Astros are one of the best offenses in baseball. But again, you got two studs on the bump. So we'll settle the score here. What do you think?
Well, yeah, Grant, you were saying there's no, outstanding stat that really points to one, but the thing that points to me is the outstanding pitching matchup that you have with Guzman and Framber Valdez for the Astros. I mean, that right there tells me under. I mean, I could see why you'd go over with both these teams being great offensive teams, but if you look at most of Guzman's starts, the Giants don't really give him a lot of run support, and he kind of is just out there on his own, pitching gems of games so far this season. So I think that happens again today. I think the Giants take the first game in this series, but I could see the Astros bouncing back. But I think this one stays under.
One thing to point out, Brandon Crawford is back, so that'll help.
Wow. Big time. Dodgers D-backs over 9, -118. William the Wizard Reed here. The Dodgers are officially the front runners in baseball. They're the best team in baseball. They are the future World Series champions now with Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. We don't need to hit on it because I wish Max Scherzer was in Boston, but it will be really cool to see Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw in the same rotation along with Walker Buehler. Now, Will Reed, you like the over here because Tony Gonsolin is going against Gallen today, I believe.
Yeah, Gatlin's not great, and Gonsolin is still getting his first few starts in before I think he'll probably be replaced by one of these two starting pitchers coming in. They just got Duffy and Scherzer, so Gonsolin will probably go back to his relief role that he was going into before Bauer and a few other guys had to step out of the lineup. But if you look at the trends, this would point to maybe an under in this game. The Dodgers haven't been scoring a lot. They lost 5-0 to the Giants. They won 8-0. They did score 8 runs in an 8-0 win against the Giants also, but then the game before that, it was the 2-1 game. But it's against the Diamondbacks and Zach Gallen. I'm not too worried about it. If I recall, last time the Dodgers and Diamondbacks met for a series, the Dodgers put up over 20 runs in one of those games. So they can single-handedly cover this over by themselves. And, I mean, like I said with the Yankees, I think the Dodgers will be riding high off of a good trade deadline day yesterday. Give the fans something they want to see. It is in Arizona, but, I mean, everyone wants to see how this Dodgers team is going to come out of this trade deadline as the presumptive favorite. I think they cover almost single-handedly today. Maybe the Diamondbacks add a few on Gonsolin, but I like this one to go over.
Arizona is a home game for the Dodgers, realistically, because nobody in Arizona cares about baseball. Number 2, I would say, is this pitching rotation is going to be absolutely filthy when you think about it, because you can move Gonsolin back. When you get to the playoffs, you're going to move Urias back to the pen. I mean, it's just going to be disgusting. Number 3 is this team is as good as Cody Bellinger. When Cody Bellinger plays well, when Cody Bellinger hits, games go over. When he doesn't, it goes under. So you're really betting on Cody Bellinger in this game. I kind of like the matchup with Gallen. I'm going to go over as well. Grant, settle the score, take us home. These hats are getting very heavy on my head and my neck's starting to hurt. So make it quick.
Yeah, I think this is another good one. One of my personal rules is if you have one team that can single-handedly push the game over, then you should probably bet the over more times than not, because there is a second team as well. So, I mean, the Diamondbacks stink, but yeah, the over makes more sense than under here.
So the Dodgers could have to cover this by themselves, though. We got to factor that in too, Grant. This is like a one-team over.
Yeah, but I mean, I did mention it there last series they played against each other. I think the Dodgers put up 20-something on the Diamondbacks, so I'm not too worried. They covered the over almost 3 times in that game. So
Will's like picking these outliers, like, oh yeah, like the kid last night. The Dodgers have lost a million of their last 1,000,001 games, and they're the biggest disappointment in baseball. But they're almost in first. Well, who was that kid? 1992.
No, that was Dark Sage 9117.
We appreciate you, Dark Sage. We don't want to pick on you. We appreciate you. But anyways, all right, guys, subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network. Final thoughts. Grant, the one and only Mitchell. What do you got for me? Give me something to motivate me.
Russell Westbrook is in LA.
Stop. Well, no, I'm not. I'm cutting you off.
Time in Tinseltown.
Nobody cares. Will, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I'm sad we missed Parlay Power Hour yesterday. I'm glad to be back here for Over Friday, even though you decided to choose under against the Over King and the over King of a team in the Orioles. I don't know why you would do such a thing on our sacred Over Friday, but I think that was pretty disrespectful of you.
And you know what? It's my show. I can do what I want. Number 2 is, William, when we look at like taking risk, it's a big risk to go under on Matt Harvey. I believe in Matt Harvey enough to go under. I think that's a bigger risk than saying Matt Harvey is going to go over.
A big risk to go under on Matt Harvey?
Yes, it is a big risk to stay under on Matt Harvey because Matt Harvey gives up overs every single time.
Just because of 2 games?
Yeah, I believe in him. That's my pitcher. That's what I'm saying. Matt Harvey is my pitcher unless he goes over today. Then I hate him again. That does it for Parlay Power Hour, guys. Subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network. SugarHouse Sportsbook in New Jersey. $250 deposit match. Sports 20. The short porch is back. Yankee fans. Let's bet on the Yankees to win the World Series. Probably not a great bet, but you can do it with house money on SugarHouse Sportsbook. Make it happen. That was Parlay Power Hour for July 30th, 2021. We will see you on Monday for another episode of the show.